Good evening and welcome to this Championship Playoff semi-final second leg tie. It's knockout football now. The Blades are at the City Ground in Nottingham. The winners go on to face Huddersfield at Wembley. For the losers, the season ends right here tonight. Between now and kickoff at 7:45, we'll get the thoughts of manager Paul Heckingbottom. We'll hear from Jack Robinson. And in an SUTV Live exclusive, we'll catch up with a man who will be pivotal if Sheffield United are to come through this test this evening. That's Wes Foderingham. All of the broadcasting regulations relating to tonight's game can be found by visiting the website. Go to sufc.co.uk where you'll find all the information that you need. Well, good evening. Welcome inside our studio here in Bramall Lane, about 50 miles south of here in Nottingham. The Blades are looking to create a little bit of history, trailing by 2-1 after the first leg of this Championship Playoff semi-final tie. They need to come back and do something they haven't done yet in 3 attempts this season, and that is beat Nottingham Forest. Of course, playoff football brings about its own atmosphere, its own tension, its own excitement, as well as a few nerves. And I'm joined by two people who have experienced all of that during their playing career. Brian Deane, Mark Duffy, a very good evening to you both.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
Well, how are you doing, more importantly, Brian? Are there some nerves? Is there some tension tonight?
I'm always doing good. Listen, I'm in a studio. I don't have to take any of that on. You know, I've been there, Mark's been there. Look, you know, when you have these opportunities in life, you've got to make the most of them. You know, we're both sat here and we'd swap, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
We'd be there. So, look,
Definitely.
let's enjoy.
Let's enjoy. It's easier said than done, isn't it? Mark, obviously, a month ago, we just wanted the Blades to be in the playoffs. They are now. Do we have the character in this team, do you feel, to get the job done tonight?
Yeah, definitely, because, you know, the experience that they have, they've been there and they've done it before, and that counts massively in these type of occasions. Obviously, we wanted them just to get to the playoffs, but you're always wanting that little bit more, and obviously, you know, they're behind now, but, you know, they've got 90 minutes to go out there and really give it their all, and with the character that they've got, I do believe they'll do it. Yeah,
let's be honest, chaps, whether it's 90 minutes, 120, or it goes to penalties, if they win, we don't frankly care how they do it, do we?
Don't care, not at all.
Well, let's take a look then at the team that will start this game at the City Ground, Nottingham, tonight. There are 2 changes to the Blades from the team which lost 2-1 on Saturday. Both come at wing back. Ben Osborne drops down to the bench. Ender Stevens has a knock to his knee and isn't even able to make the bench. So that means George Baldock, with his experience, comes in on the right side. Reece Norrington-Davies, with his pace and perhaps a little bit more attacking threat, down the left. Mark, what do we make of that?
I think, look, you know, George is a fantastic player. He's been there and done it before. He's got a lot more energy. I think that's a real positive one. It's a big night for Reece. Obviously, one of their standout players is Spence down the right-hand side, so it'll be a big ask for him, but one I'm sure he'll be looking forward to.
Brian, it's noticeable Billy Sharp's name still isn't there. I think the most optimistic of us were hoping he might at least make a place on the bench. How much do we miss his experience?
Yeah, I mean, Billy's a big player. You look at the game, it was a fantastic game on Saturday, by the way, even though we didn't get the result we wanted. But you just felt that sometimes when we had chances, if you had somebody like Billy in there with the experience and the gift that he has, you know, we might have come out even a goal ahead. But, you know, I still look at how the season has developed and, you know, with all the changes, the injuries and everything, we're still here with an opportunity to get to Wembley with a massive playoff. So, you know, that's a positive. It's a good reflection of, you know, the management and the way the squad have responded to him coming in. So, yeah, we're going to find out very soon, you know, how they cope with an atmosphere, because it's going to be red hot tonight.
Yeah, it's a sellout crowd down at the City Ground. Mark, what do we need to do differently tonight if we are to turn this tie on its head?
I think we need to play on the front foot a little bit more, a lot more aggressive, energetic, and just play the way the Blades play, really, and really get after them and make it hostile. And, you know, I think if we let Forest, you know, dictate the play and, you know, slow it down, and then all of a sudden they can expose it through the lines, and then they've got that real pace. it becomes a game that they want us to play. I think we make it frantic and just really get after them.
And Brian, I know you've managed in a playoff scenario, albeit in Norwegian top-tier football, but you were successful as well. So different pressure, different approach on occasions. What are your thoughts going into this game, and how did you react to it in Paul Heckingbottom's position?
I think it's about in-game management. So, you know, what I mean by that is there are going to be moments in the game where, you know, people need to take certain responsibilities. You know, it's going to be, you know, be things like when they need to be calm, you know, when they need to be aggressive, like Marcus said. You know, those are all, you know, you can almost say, right, in this scenario, this is going to happen. And then it's down to the players on the pitch to execute it. I suppose once Paul's had his talk, that's it, he can't affect them anymore. His main job today is to make sure that they are ready for a fight. But yeah, it's a massive, massive game, this, isn't it?
It is a massive game. You need cool heads, you need experienced heads. We mentioned Billy Sharp doesn't feature tonight, but he's still travelled with the team, and just before on air, we caught up with him. Well, Billy, thanks for taking the time to join us on SUTV Live. Great to see you. First up, the obvious question is, how are you feeling?
Yeah, boys are looking really relaxed and looking forward to the game. Another opportunity to put things right from the weekend.
And what about in yourself as well, physically, how are you doing?
Yeah, not at the physical stage that I would have liked to have been at, but I feel good and looking forward to tonight. Like I say, it's another opportunity. The pressure ain't on us anymore, it's on them. So we've got to go out there, put on a better performance than we did at the weekend, and really excited to see what we can do, and positive as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And I imagine, as watching on as we all did on Saturday, that first leg, as a pro yourself as well, the most frustrating part of it is not actually being able to get out on the pitch and affect the game.
Yeah, obviously it is the most frustrating thing about being a footballer when you're injured. These are games that you want to play in, and I was gutted that I couldn't be part of it at the weekend. So, you know, I had to have my fingers crossed and back the lads, and I'll do the same again tonight.
What about tonight then, Billy? What's the mood in the camp? We've heard the manager say in the build-up to this game that it's only a one-goal deficit. You don't have to win it in the first 10 minutes. So how is everybody feeling in that dressing room right now?
Yeah, echo what the manager says. He's right. We got that goal late on, which has obviously gave us a really big lift, and we don't have to go and win the game in the first 10-20 minutes, like he said. See what they've got, and we can work our way into the game, get that one goal that we need, and we'll be happy with that.
Is there a train of thought as well? Everybody's talking about the atmosphere that's going to be in the City ground, but if you can get amongst them and pinch that goal back, that can work against a side, can't it, when there's such expectation?
Yeah, there's a few people who have played here at Nottingham Forest, me included, and yeah, it can get that way. Like I say, they're the home team, so we're a goal behind, but got 90 minutes to get that goal, and got full faith in the lads, and like I say, can't wait for the game to get going.
And given the way you guys have played, especially since Hecky took over it in November, I imagine there's no shortage of confidence and self-belief tonight.
Yeah, got full belief in everyone. Everyone's backing each other. Everyone knows what we've got to do tonight, and everyone's looking forward to being calm, relaxed, and ready to go.
All right, Billy, we thank you for your time. We're excited, nervous, a little bit tense here in the studio as well, but we'll all be cheering you on. Go well.
Cheers, Richard. Thank you.
Well, as I said there, we're a little bit excited, tinge of nerves, bit of tension. Billy Sharp, ever the cool head there. Brian, how invaluable is it for this group that he's still travelled and they can lean on him for his experience tonight?
Yeah, I think really you've summed it up there. You know, you need somebody like Billy. There'll be a lot of nerves from some of the younger guys in the squad there, and it's good when you've got an older head just going around, putting your arms around people. I mean, I came back here, my third spell here, I was about 37 at the time, and at the time they just brought me back just to be in the changing rooms. I wasn't going to play much, and I knew that. But it was nice from my point of view to be able to pass that experience on to the other players, and you could see that they appreciated that as well. You know, it was just having that older head there who'd perhaps been there and done it. So, you know, Billy will be gutted, believe me, but at the same time, he'll be getting valuable experience as well himself. But definitely, it's good having a leader like him. Well,
and you both know Billy Sharp and the type of character that he is. So, Mark, just how disappointed and frustrated will he be that he can't be involved tonight?
He'll be devastated, Billy. And I'm pretty sure if you asked him, he would say, yeah, he'd put his hand up and say, I could play some part of the game. Because that the character he is, and it's a huge loss for us tonight, because as you seen last night with Jordan Rhodes, it's invaluable to have that goal scorer at the top of the pitch. And on Saturday we looked like we were missing that, and we've looked like we've missed it over the course of the back end of the season a little bit. But it's one of those that, you know, unfortunately he can't play tonight, but he's there to give his experience, and he'll be a valuable person in that dressing room.
He was at Forest as well, wasn't he, for a bit? Yeah, so it's going to be good.
He'll be devastated.
Yeah.
One thing that came up, though, in that chat with him there was, you know, it is going to be a sellout crowd, and people talk about Forest and think of Clough's championship winning team in Europe back in the old days, but it's over 20 years since they were last in the Premier League. This will mean a lot to them, and if the Blades can start well and a few nerves creep in, the crowd gets edgy, suddenly what was an asset could work against Forest, couldn't it? That's
going to be, you know, for me, and we've all talked about this, the best thing that they can do is try and make that crowd nervous early on, you know, because that will affect the players. You know, that means, like Mark said, get on the front foot, get in their faces, you know, put them under pressure, because you let a team like Forest, you know, you let them sort of like grow into the game, you've got a problem, because they're as good as I've seen in this division. I haven't seen a lot of Fulham, but I love the energy that they play with. It's really good.
It wasn't a playoff scenario for you, Mark Duffy, but 3 or 4 years ago now, I recall Sheffield United going to Elland Road, back end of the season, both of you vying for that final automatic promotion spot, full house there, you got the 1-0 win. So what was the chat pre-game about how you approach it?
Yeah, well, you know, the gaffer just said to us, look, you just touched on it then about Forest and the history, but you're not playing against their history or the Forest of old or the Leeds of old. You're playing against the team today, and the reality is the Forest team is a good team, but they're a young team. So, like Brian just said, then if you make them nervous, get the crowd turning against them, when their players getting the ball, you know, the fans are, oh, I don't know what's happening. No. And you just make it hostile and you get after them, and you make it really difficult for them. And if they play the way through you and you hold your hands up and say, well, you know, that's because you're a good player, but more often than not, the fans get on top of them, they misplace passes, and then all of a sudden you find that extra yard, and then your tails are up, and then all of a sudden you're stringing 3 and 4 passes together. So it just swings in roundabouts, but I genuinely believe whoever starts the game well tonight will dominate.
Well, that surely got to be the game plan going into tonight's game. But in all fairness to the City fans, when their team are playing at home this season, they haven't had an awful lot to get nervous about. If we look at the recent home form specifically, I think we're doing them an injustice to put the Liverpool result on there, but to hold Liverpool to just a single goal in the Cup was impressive. But at home, they've finished the season well. What is that? 13 goals scored, one conceded in the final 4. It's a snapshot of how tall an order this is, Brian, for the Blades tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, they've got momentum, you know, and it's been a great atmosphere down there. You know, everybody will be looking to go. You know, you see this all the time, don't you? Once they get on a roll, and that's why, like we keep talking about, but it's got the game management is so important in this game. It's fire, it's ice. Yeah. You know, can we get in their faces? And then when we've got the ball, can we be nice and cool? You know, those are the big moments that you look to. That's part of the game plan now. Fire and ice.
Let's have a look at the Blades' form away from home towards the end of the season. Not as impressive as City at home, but That last trip on the road at Queen's Park Rangers, still fresh in everybody's memories, Mark, especially the second 45 minutes, because it was so different to what we've seen a lot of this season from the Blades. That's what they've got to take into this game, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And the second 45 of that was what we want from them, is getting after teams, getting in the face, making it aggressive, being aggressive, and just really playing the way we want them to play. And I think they've got to do that tonight, especially against Forest, because as we've touched on, if you let Forest start to dictate the play and play at their own tempo, it's going to be a difficult night. But, you know, the results, what you've just seen then, that they've been on fire. So we've got to make it really difficult for them.
Well, we've been looking for reason to have hope, cause for optimism coming into tonight's game. Been looking since the championship came into being in 2004. How many teams have overturned a first leg deficit to go on and play in the final? Just the one we could find. 2 years ago, Leeds United were on the wrong end of a comeback from Derby County. And if memory serves me correctly, Leeds, carrying a 1-goal lead, actually took the lead in the second leg as well. So if you need to draw on anything, Brian, Sheffield United can look at that.
But it's a similar scenario, isn't it? Because you look at how hostile the crowd can be at Ellen Road, you know, and once they get on your back, that nervousness just get in there. And it's exactly the same situation, honestly. I mean, look, we're in the studio, it's easy for us. But the experience that Mark's got and what I've got tells you that there'll be certain players who are playing tonight for Nottingham Forest who will be hoping that they start the game well, you know, and those are the players that perhaps we've got to target. I don't have the intel on that, but you know, this is what we do now. We have all these stats. We do all the character. You know, when I used to play all that time ago, we used to have all these, you know, stats on players, talk about their character, how you can affect them. I'm sure they've done all of that, but that's what this is. This game is season defining, you know, and we've got to pull everything we can together. And to be honest, the fans, everybody will accept that.
Mark, you know a lot of this squad, you know them very well. Yeah. Who are the key players for us tonight?
I think George will be a really key player in, just with his energy, and he's a really aggressive player, and I think he could be one who really sets the tempo. Same with Flecky. I want to see the John Fleck of what I know, who's a really aggressive player who'll fly into a tackle, get up off the floor and dance past 3 players and slide somebody in. Obviously you've got Sander, who's been in really good form, and then obviously Gibbs White, who's been the standout performer of all season. We want him on the ball as much as possible, and just driving our players. I want to see more. I want them to commit to things a little bit more and take risks, because as you know, just touched on there, it's season defining. So you may as well leave it all out there and have no regrets at the end of it, because the worst possible thing is to come off that pitch and be like, I could have done a little bit more, I could have took a few more risks and you know, and a few shots and stuff like that. So I just want them to leave it all out there, and if they do that, I'm sure they'll come in after it and be delighted.
Yeah, well, let's remind you of the prize at stake. It's all or nothing for the Blades, because Huddersfield Town are already there. They booked their spot in the Championship playoff final at Wembley. A week on Sunday, the 29th of May. It's a 4:45 kickoff. The Blades looking to create a little bit of history tonight to become only the second team since the Championship came into being to overturn a first leg deficit and make it to the playoff final themselves. But to do that, they'll have to turn around a tie in which they trail by 2-1 after Saturday's first leg here at Bramall Lane.
Back on the scenes, well, the teams are ready, the fans are ready, and we're underway in the Sky Bet Championship playoff semi-final first leg. It's a deep one towards Egan, who gets there, away by Spence. Back into the mix by Osborne. Robinson went for it. Still alive in there for United. Surridge at the byline. There's a slip there and a chance. Wonderful save, but the rebound is slotted in, and Colback has given Nottingham Forest the lead. The visitors strike first. United have made a really good start to this one, but they are behind. Can United respond? Decent ball in, which is fisted away by Samba. Flex delivery towards Egan, off the line. Let off for Nottingham Forest. Sinking our goal. That's a miscue and a save. Johnson with Surridge in front of him. Johnson into the area. Johnson. Basham gets onto the second ball. Osborne to Gibbs White. Lovely play. Berger! Gibbs White from distance. And Egan has made a mistake and Lolly's onto it quick as a flash. And Lolly with a chance here. Might fall for Johnson. And Johnson makes it 2-0. Mistake at the back. It looked like United might have got away with it, but Johnson was on hand. And Forest very much in the driving seat now. And it goes. Basham's up there. And Forest sends a third possibly here. Spence. Jed Spence. And it goes. And there's a chance. And it's gone in. Blades have got one back. That's the foothold Sheffield United needed. Game on now.
And it's that late goal from Sander Berger which has given Sheffield United a lifeline going into tonight's second leg. Mark, just how important in the context of this tie as a whole was that goal?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And I'm sure Hecky would put a positive spin on it and say, look, we could have been out of the tie, but now we're right in it and we're full of confidence going into it because we're only one goal behind them and we didn't perform to the levels that we have done in the past. So if we can perform to any of the levels that we have, we can really put it on for us tonight and hopefully get the result. But it's a huge goal, especially the timing of it as well.
Brian, I heard Steve Cooper, the Forest manager, in his thoughts after the game say, look, we were always confident that we could break up what United were doing going forward and hit them on the counter and exploit them defensively. For the Blades, is that the most frustrating thing, that it wasn't really a surprise? We know how Forest play and yet they had an awful lot of joy through doing it.
I just think they're a very good side, and he's a very good manager. One thing is that we know with the three centre-backs, there's space to exploit behind the wing-backs, and they were very good at that. And they've got the centre-forward, his name escapes me at the moment.
Sam Surridge.
The other boy.
Oh, Brennan Johnson.
No, the other one.
Lewis Grabban.
The guy from Villa.
Keenan Davis on the bench. We'd get there in the end, I knew we would.
Sam Surridge is a very good player. And it's how we really need to be solid at the back. We cannot give anything away tonight. But he'll know that they're very good down the sides, and that's a big problem to us. So
to that end, then, how important is the role? You mentioned John Flecker a little while ago, Mark, alongside him, Ollie Norwood. They've got to be very good at stifling what Forest do in the centre of the park and limit that supply route to the width.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's where the experience comes into play in these type of games. And I'm sure Hecky would have had a chat with them and said, look, stopping those spaces before it gets to the back three and in the channels, can you block them? Can you shuffle across and just try and cover
solid,
and just try and be solid? Because as we've seen, once they do get in those channels, they've got real pace and they've got real quality to expose anybody in this division. So I think that's the game plan tonight, is trying to stop them getting into them channels.
Let's be honest, we were all pretty impressed with the way Forest played on Saturday. I think we left this game thinking it could have been a lot worse. The tie could have been over. Given Sander Berg's late strike then, Brian, how pleased are we that we're still in this? Absolutely.
I mean, we said it. You come away, I mean, I'm sure Steve Cooper was... you get to full time and just before that corner comes in, he's thinking, if we can just see this out, then then the tie's over as far as we're concerned. And then you just get that little glimmer of hope with Sanders' goal. That can make all the difference. That's them going in thinking, the first goal is going to be the most important goal tonight. And if we get it, let's have a look at them.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives us a little glimmer of hope. Certainly, it gives the players hope. And when we spoke to Paul Heckingbottom immediately after Saturday's game, he admitted that was a pivotal moment.
Yeah, I think that goal at the end's pivotal. Changed the whole complexion, whole feeling in terms of their camp and our camp. but we know it's going to be a tough game. We're away from home. I just think the game sets up a little bit different at their place as well, where obviously they can be, we know they're a threat on the counter, and what we're disappointed with is we didn't deal with it well enough in the first half. But away from home, us, them being at home, it's a different complexion because their fans won't be as comfortable if they're camped in on the edge of the box, you know, playing on the counter. So yeah, it'll be a totally different game away from home, but just as tough, just as tricky, because we know what a good team they are.
Your thoughts on your team's performance today? Are you lucky to only be a goal behind in the tie?
I think first half, their big opportunities. Wes made some really good saves. Again, disappointed. Their first thought on the counter is when the ball changes over possession is that forward pass, whether it's to Zinkernagel, Johnson or Surridge running the channel. And as much as we spoke about it, and we didn't deal with it well enough. We didn't, and that was their threat. So regardless, I thought we started well. Certainly should have had a penalty. And again, going behind to a counter-attacking team, you've heard me say it loads of times before, it does open you up, it makes you more vulnerable. But we didn't deal with that well enough, and that was a pivotal part of the game, if you like that.
So Paul Heckingbottom clearly frustrated that we weren't able to deal with the counter-attacking style of Forest on Saturday, but Mark, it struck me as well, there was an element of optimism in his voice because it's just 2-1.
Yeah, definitely, and as we touched on before, it's, you know, for being 2-0 to 2-1 is a total different mindset. The Forest players are probably going into their dressing room disappointed. The Blades players are going in delighted. So it's totally different mindset, and you know, the game plan's totally different. Forest at 2-0, they can absolutely sit back and play their counter-attacking football and really hit us on the counter. Whereas now, do they sit back or do they have to go for it? It's sort of, you know, it's one of those, do you twist or do you stick?
Yeah, different mindset then going into tonight's second leg, and very much all to play for both teams. Let's take you back to November when the Blades were last in Nottingham and remind you how that one unfolded.
Lee Doughty is the referee tonight. Sheffield United get this game underway. Strong challenge by Basham, who's actually missed a man and ball there. The referee's playing an advantage. It's Lolly who's bringing it forward. Lolly with a strike. Olsen had that one covered. Decent delivery. It caused a lot of problems. Was it Figueiredo who got the last touch? Brewster coming off that right-hand side is away from Colback. Good break this from Rian Brewster. Still going Brewster. That's better. Flex corner headed away by Taylor. Norwood jumps. Stevens in the central area. Dinks one into the area, looking for Gibbs White. It's missed, and then Bogle with a strike and saved. Alexander Stevens. Stevens with the early cross. All the way to the far side, and Brewster. Garner to deliver. This one's deeper. That's a really good clearance. I think it was Basham. Garner's delivery. There's the header, just wide. Probably the best chance of the half so far. And there is the half-time whistle. Nottingham Forest 0, Sheffield United 0. That's a good ball. That's Gibbs White for Sharp. Gibbs White wants the return. Billy Sharp. Morgan Gibbs White! Yes! Breakthrough for Sheffield United. And it's Morgan Gibbs White again. His 4th goal of the season. Billy Sharp, the creator. Nottingham Forest 0, Sheffield United 1. Norwood's corner. Fisted away by Brice Samba. And here come Nottingham Forest down the right-hand side. Colback, 25 yards from goal. Johnson's cross, hits Graben, and then gets it at the second attempt and steers it beyond Olsen. And Forest have levelled, and it's a substitute, Lewis Graben, his 6th of the season. Nottingham Forest 1, Sheffield United 1. Look at Brewster coming into the picture now. Gibbs White still going. Rian Brewster straight at the goalkeeper.
So it finished 1-1 back in November at the City Ground in Nottingham. Let's remind you of the two teams if you're just joining us tonight ahead of this second leg Championship playoff semi-final tie. Nottingham Forest, the home side first of all, perhaps unsurprisingly, Brian, unchanged from the team which started that 2-1 win on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, they, like we've spoken about, they've played very well, and you know, the thing is that the bench, they've got good players to come off the bench as well. But yeah, I mean, they will go into this pretty confident, you know, no injuries, which is a bonus. And even if you've got a little niggle in a game like this, you want to play. So yeah, they will be confident. We got to face facts. You know, they're going to go into the game hoping to finish the job pretty early, but. You know, there can be a certain amount of complacency that comes with that.
Yeah, and they've got the option of bringing Keenan Davis on if they need to change things around from the bench in the second half. Let's take a look at the Blades that start this evening's game. 2 changes, both at wing-back. George Baldock and Rhys Norrington-Davis coming in for Ben Osborne, who drops down to the bench. No Ender Stevens either. He's picked up a knock to his knee. Mark, this is for many of these players now the biggest game they'll have played in.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, but this is why you become a professional footballer, is to play in games like this tonight, and they've worked their socks off all season to get in this position. If you would have asked them just because Hecky come in, would you take it? They would have snatched your hands off. So they've got to go out there and they've got to relish it really, and you know, try and take that opportunity.
Yeah, and looking at the attacking options for the Blades, the front 3 of Morgan Gibbs-White, Iliman Njai and Sander Berger. Gibbs-White, the leading scorer with 11 in the league. Obviously we miss Billy Sharp's experience and his poaching know-how in the box, Brian, but we've seen against QPR and then at home against Fulham on the final day of the season what these 3 can do to defences if it's their day and they're on song.
Yeah, I think what is good about them is if we can stay solid behind them, they're really very good at playing in those little spaces. You know, the space between the defence and the midfield. You know, they like to get on half turn. They like to play little 1-2s. You know, and they're all slightly different. You might have the same with Morgan Gibbs-White and NDI, who are very similar. But then you've got Berg, who offers a different option altogether. So I think they complement each other very well without having out and out blistering pace beyond. I mean, we all know that Sanders a very quick player, but what we're talking about is, you know, the transition, the clever play in between to get into scoring positions.
On Saturday we saw Yates and Garner do a great job nullifying the supply into their mark. Is there a greater responsibility for Sander Berger as the fully fledged international to really stamp his mark on this game tonight?
Yeah, but you know, we always want a little bit more from Sander, just because he's got so much to offer. You know, obviously the size of him, the pace, which, you know, people don't really realise how quick he is, but he just glides past people, and we always just want him to do a little bit more because he has so much to give really. But these are the nights that you can really stamp your authority on the club, the games, the league, everything. You know, tonight I'd like to see him go and get the ball off.
Be the boss.
Yeah, go and get it off anybody and give me the ball. I'm the man. And no one's going to get the ball off him because he's too big. Get your arms up and just throw someone. Just be dominant. I just want to see a dominant display from him. That's what I'm desperate to see. Yeah,
without doubt. As a professional footballer, these are the nights you dream of, aren't they? You want to be part of them. And whilst we need the Blades to be effective in an attacking sense as well, it's time to take you to an SUTV Live exclusive, because at the other end of the pitch, Wes Foderingham has been in inspired form for the vast majority of this season. And if the Blades are to progress this evening, he is like to have a pivotal role.
Yeah, obviously we're aware that we're a goal down. But us scoring a goal as late as we did has changed the complexion of the tie, and you know, it's definitely all to play for on Tuesday.
You made a couple of really crucial saves. You must have been really pleased with those. It's kept Sheffield United in this tie.
Yeah, I think it's part of doing your job. There's moments where you're probably going to need to be there for the defence if they're getting behind, and you know, thankfully I was able to do that.
How big a lift did that goal right at the end give the teammates, you and your teammates, after the game?
Yeah, it's massive. I think you could see the reaction of, you know, the Forest players as well when that goal goes in. I think if you're going away 2-0 down, it's a completely different game. It's a big ask, and you know, that goal gives us a chance going into the game.
And what does it say about the resilience and the fight that's still left in this team? Went right to the end, and like you said, it's giving yourselves a great chance going into the second leg.
I think over the course of the season we've shown we've got, you know, a lot of fight. We've been in a lot of difficult situations, and in all the big games, the majority of the big games that we've had, we've come out on top. So you know, the tie's not over. We go there a goal down, we know that. It'll be difficult, but you know, we're definitely still in the mindset that we can go there and win.
And the role of the fans, it was a cauldron of noise, wasn't it, at Bramall Lane? We probably expect the same at the City Ground. So how big are the fans, the 2,000 that are making the trip across there to the York? Chances of getting through?
They're massive. Even in the first leg, when we didn't start too great and found ourselves a goal down and then 2 goals down, they still stayed behind us, and the noise and the impact they can have on the team can't be underestimated. So yeah, I'm sure they'll travel in their numbers and be very vocal Tuesday night.
Those are the thoughts of the Sheffield United shot stopper Wes Foderingham, but Brian, he's come up with some big time saves over the course of this season, and particularly on Saturday when the scoreline would have been much worse but for him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the season, the trajectory of the season changed when Wes came in. I think previous to that, you could see that the back 4 was very nervous. And he came in and he's offered a kind of real calm confidence to the guys who are playing in front of him. and for me, he has been outstanding. I would say perhaps one of our top 3 most important players this season.
Has he made defenders better?
Well, what he does, he gives them confidence that when he's behind you, he's going to make saves, he's going to be loud, he's going to be vocal, he's going to commander's box really, and that, as I say, that just gives the defenders in front of him the confidence to go and attack balls, to know that when the ball goes over the top, he's really good at coming out and sweeping up. So it just breeds confidence for the lads in front of him.
Well, one of those defenders who he's been breeding confidence in is Jack Robinson, and for him tonight it's a case of having made over 50 league appearances for Nottingham Forest, returning to familiar surroundings.
I mean, I played at the City Ground. I was there obviously before Sheffield United, so I know that the crowd can get on you if you're performing badly and you're not at the races. So as I say, we can only focus on ourselves, not really going to focus on them, and it's about our performance, because when we've performed, we've beat pretty much every team out there in the league. So it'll just be 100% focused, 100% just to give our all for this last 90 minutes.
It's a big opportunity, isn't it? Because if you go there, overturn this deficit and get to Wembley, it's the kind of night that fans will talk about for years to come.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're down in the first leg and then you come back, it's always going to be talked about. But as I say, you've then got the final to deal with, but we're not really focused on that, just literally about the 90 minutes tomorrow.
Is the belief still there, that you can go and get through this tie and get to Wembley?
Of course, you're not going to say no, You're not going to say no, we haven't got belief, because of course we have. It was just a poor performance on Saturday, and as I say, we're going to rectify that and put a good performance in tomorrow night.
Jack Robinson very much focused on the task at hand this evening. Brian, like Wes, who we just spoke about, Jack wasn't first choice centre-half at the start of this season, but he's another one that seems to have grown the longer the season's gone on.
Yeah, I mean, it happens like that, doesn't it? Things change, and he's come in and he's done a really good job, and that's how your season sometimes develops. You might find at the beginning of the season one person is supposed to be the hero, and then by the end of the season it's somebody else. And he's been very good for us. He's done a great job, just the same as Wes. And we're going to rely on him again tonight.
What's most impressed you about Jack Robinson, the way he's grown in stature?
Yeah, I think it was tough for him at the start because he's taking Jack O'Connell's position, and anyone who...
Big shoes to fill.
Of course, and when you're trying to live up to Jack O'Connell and how good Jack is, it's tough because people compare, he doesn't do it as well as Jack or this, whatever. But as time's gone on, he's grown in confidence and he's learned the system, he's learned the players around him, and I think he's been really good and a real positive.
And obviously offers an extra threat and attacking sense from set pieces as well, which the Blades may well need this evening. It's a must-win game down at the City Ground in Nottingham as we try and overturn a 2-1 first leg deficit. Let's get the final thoughts now before kick-off of manager Paul Heckingbottom, who knows we need a win, but is keen to stress that we don't have to get it straight away.
That's the aim, but that doesn't have to be in the first minute. It really doesn't. And likewise, they get the first goal. As long as we get the next one, we're back to where we are now, which is that fine balance. So, yeah, there will be key moments in the game. There will be. Hopefully, they go our way. Because you hear the saying, goals change games. So just as that first goal when we're on top sets it up perfect for a counter-attacking team, their first goal, our goal at the end has changed the dynamic again.
This is a big opportunity, isn't it? I mean, if you go there and win, people have been talking about the Forest game here for 20 years. You know, if you go there and win and get to Wembley, they'll talk about this as well.
Listen, we're 90 minutes away from Wembley, 90 minutes away from the biggest game in football, I call it, because it's the prize of the Premier League. Fantastic, great opportunity, right? And everyone should be delighted that we're here and we're playing and we're competing. That's it. And listen, that was a thought after the game. It's not a league game where you've lost and that's gone and you've lost 3 points. It's half time. And we're 90 minutes away from potentially being at Wembley. So, yeah, that's our approach. That's how we're approaching it. And everyone will give everything to get there.
90 minutes away from Wembley, 90 minutes from a great opportunity, 90 minutes perhaps from a place and a chance to play in the Premier League next season. Mark, you've done it automatically with this team. What does it mean to everyone at this club, and how confident do you think they'll be in that dressing room right now?
Well, they've got to have confidence. They've got to look. It's one game. Can they go out there and beat Forest? Of course they can. But they've got to go out there and prove it. But this is why they're a professional footballer. They've sacrificed, a lot of time and effort, and they've just got to go out there and put absolutely everything into it and leave it all out there. And I'm sure if they do that, no matter what the result, the fans will be behind them. Yeah, Brian, there's no tomorrow now. It's win or go home, isn't it?
No, it's a weird scenario because in some respects, the pressure's off, whereas everybody's expecting everything from Forest. It's such a weird setup, and it sets a great game up for us. So, the players can go there with very little on their shoulders, but at the same time, they can just attack the game and give 100%. If they do that, then it's a toss-up.
This is where you need your players with character to come to the fore as well. It's going to be a big game atmosphere. We've spoken about it being a sellout. It's a chance to make a name for yourself as a footballer. That's it. You want to make a name for yourself, and these are the nights that you want to score a goal. You want to really have a dominant performance, and but as I say, as long as they put the effort in and the desire, the fans will be right behind them. What are your thoughts, Brian?
Oh, it's going to be a close game. I'm, my heart's saying the Blades. My head's saying it's going to be a big ask, but I'm hopeful. We can see the players entering the pitch, leaving the tunnel there at City Ground. Mark Duffy, give us your final thoughts. Just similar to Brian, really. It's going to be a big ask, but we can do it. But defensively, we've got to be absolutely on the ball tonight. And for me, we've got to try and keep a clean sheet, which is obviously a big ask away. How much would you love to be part of this right now? Oh my God, I'd do anything out there. Do anything. Yeah. I can't remember that far. Well, the time for talking is over. It's time for action. And the Blades have a chance to create history. Trailing 2-1 from the first leg. Can they turn this around and book a date with destiny at Wembley on Sunday, the 29th of May? We're about to find out. Let's hand you over to the commentary team of Kevin Gage and Matt Young.
Down but not out was the theme from the first leg as United go into this game still with a fantastic opportunity of reaching